when I saw wing foiling for the first time was probably in 2018 or 19. I thought I saw the first guys on a wing on a foil. And I mean, I come originally water sport wise from a windsurfing background. I started in the 90s, and there has been wings already around in the 90s, as you might know or not know, I
Hmm.
know, but there was something like a wing on a surfboard, on a windsurfboard at that time. And actually, a friend of mine had that and that thing, but it only worked with like 35 knots. That was the only way to run in this wing thing. And then when I saw in 2018 the first wing foiler with some prototype gear, I was like, oh man, now they're trying to bring back that wing thing back to life and give it you know, a second chance, or I don't know, it looks really awkward. And I wouldn't have
Yep.
thought it at that time. But then in 2019, I gave it a go myself on some friends' equipment, which was not suitable, and it didn't really like go very far. It was not very successful. So I was like, ah, it's all right, but you know, didn't really hook me at that time. And then in 2020,
Hmm.
you know, we were in Mauritius here, and we got locked on the island for 18 months. You know, the airport was closed, and we had a couple of gear around here, and I gave it another go, and I had equipment that was kind of suitable, and yeah, and got you know, hooked pretty quick because I really figured out how easy it is to learn that sport. And when I saw within a week, you know, how far you can progress, we were here on Mauritius with, you know, we had very limited gear. I had a couple of foils from surf foiling that I've been using, and I had a friend who has a shop who had some boards. Actually, we didn't have real wing foil boards. We used modified SUPs and put the foil box inside, and uh
That works.
and yeah, that was working like 9.8 foot long things, you know, that we were like no straps on it, and then pretty soon tried to
Yep.
take those things to the waves as well. So riding the waves on these massive SUPs on a foil, and
Oh yeah.
then yeah, and a friend of mine from the Ozone guys actually who develop here in Mauritius, they gave us a wing and said like, hey, I'm in the garage, I'm not on the island, but just take it and you know use it. And then within a
Yep.
week, I kind of understood the potential of this sport. Like I have never done
Mm.
something. I mean, I do a lot of water sports coming from as that windsurf background. I do kite surfing, surfing, SUP. I did windsurf foiling. I did kite surf foiling. Both didn't really hook me that hard. But I got onto wing foiling, and I really understood that's more about, you know, you don't have that much of an engine in your hands like you have on a windsurf sail, or can
Mm.
you really ride a foil? I understood the potential of
Yep.
that, and that you know, I mean, the whole virus hit us really bad here on the island, and we were like on the water. It was pandemic. It was closed. You know, there were no tourists around. The whole spot was here just for five friends, and
Oh.
yeah, we were wing foiling every day, 3, 4, 5 hours. You know, that's what we did.
Oh,
And
awesome.
and it was a crazy good season. It was pumping waves all the time, and the wind was good, and yeah, and it was so stoked how quick the progress on this equipment is, and that kind of
Yep.
showed me the potential, and that's also how it motivated us to really push and say, hey, this sport is going to go big, and the industry was already pushing
Hmm.
at that moment. As I've been and still I'm involved in the kite world tour as well, organizing the kite world tour as a tour manager, together with my partner and the CEO of the kite tour, Jürgen Vogt from Germany. And then we were talking about
Okay.
it. I said, I mean, this sport is going to go big, and we should do something about it. And the industry was pushing behind it too. I said, like, guys, we need to organize this. And that's how we all started, and started the GWA, and started the first an
Oh,
association
no
around
way.
wing foiling, and then also started the first competitions. And yeah, at that moment, I realized we could sit here at one time and maybe talk about wing foiling. But before that, I was really not aware of that. To come back to your question,
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah.
what's the potential of this sport? And now we are 3 years later, and it's crazy how quick this sport has developed.